So welcome back to another training update video. It's Sunday, which means it's time to wrap up the week's training. 2 weeks out now from locking in to a London marathon block. So I should use the term London loosely. I have submitted my good for age time. I think we're meant to hit at the end of November actually. So fingers crossed, all being well, we'll be locking in to London training. So this week has been a really good week. A little bit of a risk. I pushed it a little bit and I'm going to talk a little bit about that now. There's plenty to go through and I'm going to explain exactly how the week's gone. And so just to clarify what I mean before we get into this, in terms of taking a risk, because I don't want to make anything too dramatic or anything, it's just the volume of intensity that I've put into this week. So it's a little bit more than what I had anticipated. It's a little bit more than what I really should have done, to be honest with you. I've come away unscathed, fingers crossed. At the point of recording this, it's Thursday. So hopefully all being well, I'll be updating you on Saturday on the long run anyway. So I just want to cover the 2 sessions right here, right now, with what I've done this week, explain the reasons behind them, explain the rest of the week, and then I'll give you a final feedback when we're out there on the long run on Saturday. All right, so very quickly, just before the first session, started the week with a 60-minute easy run. So normally what I do is I start with a moderate run, steady, zone 2, whatever you want to call it. But I raced on the Sunday at New at 9. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. Had an absolute blast there and managed to grab a second place, which I was chuffed about. So I decided to switch things up, obviously let the body recover and rest. 60 minutes, nice and easy. Average heart rate on this one was 131 beats a minute, so that's nice and calm, nice and relaxed. Took the On Cloud Eclipse out for another run, really enjoying those shoes. And so yeah, just got that one banked before getting into the session. So this was the first session of the week. Get rid of the jumper because that's annoying me. So Will said to me, my coach Will, in the off season or time where I'm not with him, just for the 5 or 6 weeks, mate, if you can do something short and sharp each week, just to keep the legs turning over, just to keep that top end speed there, that'd be great. That's all he asked me to do. So that's exactly what this session is all about. Now I do 400 meter workouts like once a year, literally once a year. And no matter what I do or how hard I try, 400 meter repeats are my nemesis. I can run some relatively quick times in training and in racing, but when it comes to 400 meter repeats, they never kind of add up to like where they should be. And now for me, last year I did like a 16 by 400 and I think I averaged like 77 or 78 seconds for those, and I very rarely struggle to break 75 seconds in a 400. It usually comes down to the wind on the industrial estate or weather conditions or whatever it is, but either way I've just struggled. So this one was really good, a bit of a breakthrough if I'm honest with you. So you can see here, it was a tailwind, headwind situation, quite severely actually. The headwind was pretty nasty, but the tailwind worked in my favour. And you can see the first pair, 75 and 77, and I kind of thought, well, if I've got that done in the first 2, then the next batch should be pretty good, because I always take a while to warm into it. So as you can see then, it was 72, 76, 74, 75, 72, 76, 72, 76, 73, 74, and I was buzzing. Just to be clocking stuff below 75 was wonderful. And I think when I averaged it all out, it came to like 74.1 or 74.2 as an average per 400. So I was really happy with that. Felt like I've finally been able to run a 400 meter session that actually reflected like what my general fitness is across the board, and that was all off 60 seconds rest. And then I spun the legs out fast with some 4x200s, nothing crazy. You can see again here, headwind, tailwind, or in this case, tailwind, headwind, 32, 36, and then 31, 34. So I got the speed in. I did not feel fatigued after the back of New at 9. I felt really good, and I felt I could go out there and run something sharp. And actually then this session would complement the New at 9, because that was a big sort of threshold race session, shall we say, over threshold as well, really pushing top end. So these short and sharp intervals, if you scroll down here, you can see the graph here. It's very up and down, and yeah, it kind of complemented what I was doing on Sunday, because last week I only ended up doing one workout at the beginning of the week, so I had the second half, despite the illness, to rest and not put too much intensity into my training. Now Tuesday's my double day, so I usually do an easy evening, and that night was a social run that I got together with a few lads. It was brilliant. We do it every year, go across the Severn Bridge, we all meet there, and then we go to Wetherspoons afterwards. So that was great fun, got that done nice and relaxed, and the average heart rate on that one was 127 beats a minute. So yeah, nice and relaxed, exactly how it should be. So far this week, 2 easy runs, 1 session. I rest on Wednesday at the moment, and then I got into my second session. Now, what I try and do with my sessions in this off season, or off period I should say, is have one short, sharp, intense session, and then the other one I want to be a really relaxed tempo session. And I absolutely nailed that with this session today. The caveat and the risk that I mentioned at the start is the fact that I did the new at 9 on the Sunday. So if you think about this logically, Sunday, hard race effort, Monday easy, Tuesday intense interval session plus easy run, Wednesday rest, Thursday tempo session basically. So in the span of 5 days, I've done 3 bits of decent intensity. There's the risk. It's something that I don't tend to do that often. I was doing it in my 10-week training block in the summer for 10K training, where you're being a bit more specific towards the shorter distance stuff. But at the moment, I've never wanted to, especially in this 6 weeks, to push anything too much. I did toy with the idea of not doing a session at all and just leaving it, but I was kind of toying with the idea of wanting to do something but not doing it too intense. So I stuck to my guns. I did a session, but I did it really controlled, everything I wanted it to be. So you can see here I did 6 by 5 minutes, very much an LT1 type of session, lactate threshold 1, aerobic threshold, not anaerobic, and I kept the efforts really controlled. Normally what would happen with this is I would be in the early 540s to late 530s, maybe even creeping into the mid 530s. I just went out there today and just kept it so relaxed, so controlled, and I just said to myself, run strong and don't force anything, don't strain anything, don't put yourself in a compromised position with your form, and just bank the right effort level, which I did. And you can see here for a session, that's a pretty low relative effort score. So I was very, very happy with that. Average heart rate 159 for the whole session, and overall, yeah, it was exactly what I wanted it to be. So it was a risk, to be honest, it was a risk, but overall, glad I got it banked, and I feel good that I've got 2 sessions exactly how I wanted them to be this week. So that's the training week so far. As you can see, around 31, the camera's in the way, 31.69 miles so far. It's going to be an easy run tomorrow, which I won't take you out on because it's going to be pitch black, and that's exactly why we're sat here, because every run I'm doing at the moment is in the pitch black. It's a nightmare. But then I will take you out on Saturday to show you the wrap up of the week. So the plan tomorrow, nice and easy, nice and relaxed, just like the other 2 easy runs this week. So it'll be a 3rd easy run, and then on my long run, I will take that steady, so moderate zone 2. So I'll get the easy run done, and I'll see you out there on Saturday to wrap up the week. So after that Thursday session, Friday ended up being a nice 1 hour easy run, really low heart rate on that one, and I was really, really happy. And then that leads us on to today, which is can't even speak, still coughing, the Saturday long run. And so this cough has been the bane of my life this week. I cannot shift it, but an incredibly beautiful frosty morning, heading out for 2 hours today. And it's definitely this season not to be using the GoPro, because the GoPro is just dying on me after 3 or 4 seconds. So I'll explain more when I'm done, but I'm just chugging away, moderate effort for 2 hours. So there we go. I just thought I would wait until the end of the run because I completely forgot the GoPro and cold weather just wasn't, or it's not a good combination. It dies instantly. Definitely need to get a new battery this year. I keep saying, I said it last year, I need to get another one this year. So 2 hours moderate done in the end for today's run. So as I mentioned earlier, 60 minutes easy yesterday, and then today I just wanted to go out and do 2 hours steady. I haven't been dropping in 2 hour runs every single week. I had a race last week, but I've kind of done it. I think this is the 3rd one I've done over this 6 week period. I'm not going to do it next weekend, to be honest. And then the week after I start back with Will. I'm just trying to get my body accustomed to 1 week doing something slightly faster and shorter. And then on the other week, sort of doing something a bit longer and a bit calmer. So today's stats ended up being really good, 6:48 per mile, and then my average heart rate was 1:44, which is really calm, and for a lot of it stayed in the 130s, especially at the start. It was -3 when I got up and got out the door. I ran from 6:30 to 8:30, so it was super early this morning, but to be fair, I just felt so good using the Hoka Mach X, and yeah, it was lovely, cold, crisp, beautiful forest scenery out there, winter wonderland, and yeah, really buzzing to get that one done, feeling as good as I did. So that sets me back on track for a nice weekly mileage. That's my graph of recent times, and you can see there I'm back up to 57 miles, which is this week's peak. I think, yeah, that's this end here. So a couple of down weeks with races and stuff. That's the Battersea Park week, and then one last week when I was feeling a bit rough, or whenever it was. As I said, on the run, couldn't shift that cough. It's still there, but overall, happy to be back up there clocking some decent miles again. And that's going to be the theme now this side of Christmas, starting back with Will in a couple of weeks. We'll just be logging those miles, hopefully keeping consistency, and that risk in the end paid off. Just kind of keeping the Thursday session controlled meant that I really didn't push it at all. Felt very good, very comfortable, and yesterday I felt a little bit kind of sluggish, but today everything just clicked, it flowed, and again I just didn't push it. Sometimes I do these moderate long runs in the 6:30s, but today I knew deep down I put in a good shift this week with the sessions, and it was really important to have discipline and just keep everything nice and controlled. So overall, I cannot grumble, I cannot complain. Another solid week, and I appreciate you guys sticking around to this point in the video. Yeah, another great week, and we'll wrap it there. We'll leave it there, and I hope you guys have had a great week of training too. So that's it from me this week, guys. That's my training update. Hope your training's going well. If you enjoyed today's video, please do consider giving it a like, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content. I'll see you in the next one. Until then.